Let's take a look back now into Cincinnati history that impacted the world. The year was 1944. During World War II. Cincinnati became home to Voice of America, the radio network providing people living in Europe with news about the war. The National Voice of America Museum of Broadcasting is actually in Westchester. That museum preserves that time of innovation.
Voice of America is America's voice to the world. It started in 1942, right after Pearl Harbor occurred, and President Roosevelt decided that he needed a voice internationally. We did not have an international voice. Most other countries had shortwave broadcasting and had an international voice. We did not. And Pearl Harbor caused it to come about. So this station was commissioned as the first American shortwave international broadcast station in the country. It was located here in Cincinnati because we're central, we're away from the coast. There was a lot of concern about coastal attacks. They weren't sure about German submarines and what they were up to. So they put us here in the Midwest, and we're in Cincinnati specifically because of Powell Crosley. He built a radio empire here in Cincinnati and had already done high power broadcasting. When the agency started and went on the air in 1944, it was the tagline, "Tell the truth and let the world decide." And that's what propagated through the Voice of America culture and still is in place today. VOA had a secret weapon. And when they put the high power transmitters on the air, their secret weapon worldwide was the music of jazz. Jazz is American, it's free-flowing, it represents American freedom. And it was literally outlawed in a lot of different countries because it represented freedom. And in repressed countries, no, we don't do that. So that's how VOA got started. They'd play 50 minutes of jazz, and then they would tack on 5 minutes of news. The news gathering operation was huge. They had like 8 large news bureaus around the world with over 40 reporters in each of the bureaus. And what would happen is, you're right, and it took a lot of time because you'd have to get that information from Africa, Brazil, Germany, wherever the reporter was, into headquarters. During the war, they had to have 3 sources for every story. After the war, they had to have 2 sources, and still today, it's my understanding, they still require 2 sources to validate every news report. We're in the control room for 6 high-power transmitters. We had 6 quarter-million-watt shortwave transmitters that could broadcast around the world. We had target countries to broadcast, and we could put 6 programs out at the same time. In an 8-hour period, we could put out 40 hours of programming and point it in 6 different directions, be it Germany, North Africa, East, South America, etc. And what was controlled here was to take the audio that came in from New York or Washington, D.C., and patch it into the transmitters and adjust it and make sure it was going out all right. And also control we had 27 different antennas out here. We took up a square mile, literally full of antennas with very narrow beam, very narrow target, and that was controlled here. So it was a big technical job to get that. When you put a 250,000 watts on the air, that takes a lot to get that done accurately and correctly. In the next room, we have a propagation room. While we do not get technical, we'll explain to you how radio signals can go around the world. WLWT, for example, is local in the daytime, but at nighttime, they can go quite a bit at night to Dallas, the Houston area, etc. But they don't go into Germany and Africa. Shortwave will do that. And so we demonstrate how that works to the lay people so they understand that this is really a global voice. In addition, then, we have a room where we concentrate on Powell Crosley's empire. He had a lot of products that were not radios. I mean, he built a huge radio empire. But he had a lot of products that were not radio. He got into the car business. He got into building refrigerators that did not require electricity. shipped them all over the country in the rural areas, and we're shipping thousands of them to Africa to keep their medicines cold. On a tour, I will regularly have people that are here because they learned English over the VOA radio, and cause them to learn there was something besides communism, there was something besides punishment for your belief system.
Great history. The museum located at 8070 Tylersville Road up in Westchester. It's open on weekends from noon until 4. You can call 513-777-0027 for more information. Well, that does it for the program today. I'm Curtis Fuller. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you next time for another edition of Let's Talk Cincy.